there are two major things that we need to do. Okay. We need to know the product and we need to know the sum of the roots of the equation. So for example, let's say we have to factorize x squared minus 9x plus 20 equal to 0. And we are asked to factorize this. Like WAEC will definitely tell us which method to adopt. So for the factorization of this, the first step is to get the product. And that can be done by multiplying the pure quadrats. Let's get the product. That's the first thing. You multiply the pure quadrats by the constants. And that will be 20x squared. Mind you, you must also consider the coefficient of the pure quadrat. This is 1. So that is why 20 times 1 is 20, then x squared. What I'm saying is if there had been a number here, like 2x squared, you multiply everything with the constant. And that would have been 40x squared. But since the coefficient here is 1, okay, 1 on a multiplication remains the same factor. Then we find the sum of this product. Okay, the two numbers such that if you add it up, it must give us minus 9x. Okay, before we know what sign to adopt, the factors of 20 that can give us a sum of 9 is 4 and 5. 4 times 5 will give you a product of 20. 4 plus 5 will give us a sum of 9. But because I am having a negative sign, minus should be here, minus should be here. Because minus times minus will give me product of positive. Then you put in the variable x. So this is the product and this is the sum. Then we substitute this factor for this affected quadrat. So it becomes x squared minus 4x minus 5x plus 20 equals to 0. Group them into two parts. Then you take what is common in each of the brackets. X squared and x. X is common. So x divided by x squared, x. X divided by 4x, 4. Then minus 5 and 20, the common factor is minus 5. Minus 5x divided by minus 5 will give us x. 20 divided by minus 5 will give you minus 4 equals to 0. Then combine the factors outside the brackets. That will be x minus 5. Pick one of the brackets. X minus 4 equals 0. So finally, x minus 5 equals 0. Or x minus 4 equals 0. So x equal minus 5 crossover positive, or x crossover, minus 4 crossover becomes positive 4. So that is the answer. X is 5 or x equals to 4. All right, put it down. Then we take another. How to factorize. How to factorize. Solve for x in the equation. Solve for x in the equation. 2x squared plus 11x plus 5 equals to 0. We follow the same method. We multiply the pure quadrats by the constants to get the product. Then the factors of the product that will give us the sum of 11x. Let's start. Solution. 2x squared plus 11x plus 5 equal to 0. Let's get the product by multiplying this pure quadrat by the constant. And this will give us 2x squared times 5 will give us 10x squared. That's the first step. Now, factors of 10 such that the sum will give us 11. That should be 1 and 10. If I multiply 1 times 10 to give me my product, 10. 1 plus 10 will give me the sum, 11. Then I need to attach the variable. So that means here can be x and here should be 10x. There's nothing like 1x, okay? So that's why it's just x. All right. So we substitute this for this sum, and that will become 2x squared plus x plus 10x. We substitute this for the sum. Plus 5 equals to 0. Then group them into two parts. This and this, this and this. Then we pick out what is common from each of the brackets. 2x squared and x. X is common. So if I take out an x, this will be left with 2x. Then x divided by x here will give me 1. Very simple. 10 and 5, the common factor is 5. The brackets must be the same. 2x plus 1 equals to 0. That's the secret. The bracket must be the same. We can prove it, sir. 10x divided by 5, 2x. 5 divided by 5, 1. It's very clear. Then we combine the numbers outside the two brackets. X plus 5. Then pick one of the same bracket. 2x plus 1 equals 0. Then what do we do next? We find our roots. X plus 5 equals to 0 or 2x plus 1 equals to 0. Then x, if it flips over, minus 5. Or 2x, 1 flip over, minus 1. Then x equals to minus 5. We can divide through by 2. So jalikai. So x is also equals to minus 1 over 2. That's the answer. So that is factorization method. Very fast to use, unlike the completing the square method and the quadratic formula method. So let me drop one for us to quickly adopt this method. Then we see quadratic formula method again for the sake of those just joining us. It's factorization. You can be working on it now. It doesn't stop you, okay? Work on the answer is minus 5 and minus 7, of course. You see 12, you see 35. 7 times 5, 7 plus 5. Is it not 12? So you don't need to think too much now for jam. So if you like, you get angry, or you can also match up to their level. That is how to learn. You can be challenged. How did you get? What's the concept? 7 times 5, 35. 7 plus 5, 12. So if you cross over plus, you become minus. Very easy. Let's see quadratic formula. Let's apply quadratic formula to that question to see if we get the minus 5 and minus 7. So using this formula, we have to solve for x squared plus 12x plus 35 equals to 0. The first thing is to get out your a, b, and c. Generally, quadratic equation is expressed as ax squared plus bx plus c equals to 0. So the coefficient of x squared is a. Coefficient of x is b. Constant. So let's get the a, b, and c from our own equation. So from what you can see, our a is what? 1. Imaginary number. Hope you are following, Our b is what? 12. And the constant is 35. Please also be watchful of the signs. Some questions you can have a negative number. Now, let's recall the quadratic formula. X equals minus b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a. Everybody should remember this. Minus b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. Very easy. Now we substitute these values for a, b, and c into this formula, and we simplify it to get our answer. So x will be equals to b is minus 12 plus or minus square root of 12 squared minus 4 times 1 for a times 35, all divided by 2 times 1. Please, stepwise for WAEC. If it's UTME, you can rush, but WAEC stepwise. All right, so x equals minus 12 plus or minus square root. Let's simplify that. 12 squared should be 144 minus 35 times 4, 140. That's nice. Over 2 times 1, 2. So x equals minus 12 plus or minus square root of 4 divided by 2. So x equals minus 12 plus or minus square root of 4 should give us is a perfect square. That's right. Over 2. Then we separate the numerator plus or minus. Minus 12 plus 2 over 2 or minus 12 minus 2 over 2. So x equals minus 10, or minus 14 over 2. So x equals minus 5 or minus 7. All right. Is minus 5, is 5 rather. And their product is minus 84. Find these numbers. Find these numbers. Okay, sum is 5, product is minus 84 of two numbers, and we are asked to find the numbers whose sum is 5 and product is minus 84. All right, we can trash that solution. Let's recall. There's a building block for quadratic equation. And the building block for quadratic equation is x squared minus sum of x plus product equals to 0. So the question already says that sum is 5, product is minus 84. Substitute into this, you get the equation, then you factorize. You get the numbers. Hope you are following. Yes, so this will be x squared minus 5x minus 84 equals to 0. This is the equation. So we need to get the numbers which are the values of x. All right. So it's either you factorize if it's fast, but with the look of this, I can't factorize this guy. It will waste my time. Remember the method of factorization. We have to multiply to get minus 84x squared. Then factors of minus 84 that will give us a sum of minus 5. You waste time. It may not even be possible. 12 and 7. You sure? 12 times 7 minus 12 times 7. Okay, let's see if it will work. Minus 12 times 7. Is that minus 84? Minus 12 plus 7 will it give us minus 5? Okay. 12 minus 12 and 7, right? Okay, it's possible. Just not to think too much in what problem. Nobody will ask to use any particular method. In case you are thinking too much of the factors, you can just use quadratic formula to be very fast. But let's see if it works. Minus 84x squared. Then the factor we are bringing up is minus 12x and 7x. Point your baby if minus 12 times 7 will give us minus 84. It gave? Yes, sir. All right, so we can substitute that. So it will be x squared minus 12x minus 7x minus 84 equals to 0. Then we group into, plus. Thank you. Okay, so what is common here is x into x minus 12. 7 should be here, right? X minus 12 equals to 0. So we have it to be x plus 7 and x minus 12 equals to 0. So therefore the numbers are x equals to minus 7 or x equals to positive 12. So these are the numbers. Very correct. 12 minus 7 will give us a sum of 5. Hope it's making sense. Yes, 12 minus 7 will give us 5. And the product, 12 times minus 7 will give us minus 84. So that's what problem.